Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzy here with yet another Bethesda News Roundup video, where I break down the most recent Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation, and it's been kinda quiet on that Bethesda front, to be honest, but I do have a couple recent and interesting things to talk about, including a potential Elder Scrolls 6 leak, and this one does involve an insider, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it, because we all know how common those supposed Bethesda leaks are, especially in regards to the Elder Scrolls 6. 90% of the time they're fake, and people do spend a lot of time trying to make these fake leaks look legit, so that's why I don't really talk about those anymore, but this one does have a little bit more credibility to it. And the dog agrees as well outside, but I also have something a little older to talk about in today's video also, but I feel like it's even more evidence that Starfield should come out at the end of this year. But either way, let's not waste any more time and get to today's information. Oh, there's the glasses. I need those apparently, so they're on my face now. The first thing I want to talk about today, I'll go through real quick, and that is that Doom Eternal won some awards at the 2021 British Academy Game Awards, and Doom Eternal totally deserves it. I feel like a lot of people sleep on Doom Eternal. It gets a lot of love and attention, but still, it's such a good game. It's one of probably the most polished shooters I've ever played, if not the most polished and smooth shooter I've ever played, at least on PC. I don't know how it performs on console, but I know on PC it's amazing, especially if you have good hardware, and the game even looks great as well. But Doom Eternal won two 2021 BAFTA Game Awards, one for animation and another for technical achievement, so great job, id Software. You guys do amazing work, and I can't wait to see what you do next. I heard there's some rumors that a single-player Quake may be coming back, but like I said, those are just rumors. I'd be totally content if they just continue to do what they've been doing with Doom. But let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about in today's video, as my eyes are gigantic because I'm wearing glasses and I'm self-conscious about it. I guess I'll get to that Elder Scrolls 6 stuff that probably no one wants to hear about, but bear in mind, this is a supposed leak from an insider, and this is an insider I never heard of, although to be honest, this isn't to discredit any of them, but there's so many these days I haven't heard of most of them. But this insider apparently does have a proven track record, and this insider is Tiffany Treadmore, who sounds like a Dishonored character, but is actually a real person, and is an insider. And Tiffany Treadmore actually has a proven track record, as I said, because she predicted the cancellation of E3 2020, which, to be honest, I think even my cat could have predicted that would happen, but she also predicted the Nintendo Direct event as well. I don't know what actual, information in regards to the Nintendo Direct event that she predicted. Maybe she just predicted the event itself and the date and stuff, but it seems like the majority of the community, at least, she is somewhat credible, even though I still think the E3 2020 cancellation thing probably could have been predicted by almost anybody. But either way, take all of this with a grain of salt, because even though she is a trusted insider by some of the people in the gaming community, it still should be considered speculation, because none of this is confirmed, and none of it comes from Bethesda. I feel like I'm reading some kind of corpo script at this point, anytime I get to speculation. But according to Tiffany Treadmore, she says that the Elder Scrolls 6 will include survival mechanics, and on top of that, there will also be some kind of new rune drawing functionality or something, even though that's not confirmed yet. I don't know how you're telling us inside information that's not confirmed. That seems like that's just jumbling and juggling around with her words there. But her source said there is a new creative system that had been developed for implementing and crafting new magic spells and abilities that is unlike Skyrim and previous games. And my glasses are gone. That spell is so random, but I guess it just works. Daedric glasses, man. They just show up when you need them, burn your face, and disappear and leave you like questioning existence. But according to Tiffany Treadmore, Elder Scrolls 6 seems like it'll have some kind of rune thing in regards to making your own spells or something. I don't know if all spells revolve around this rune system or only if spell crafting revolves around this rune system, but that would be interesting. First of all, I would love to see spell crafting make a return in the Elder Scrolls, because that's something that was one of my favorite things in Oblivion. You could almost break the game with spellcrafting though, so I kind of understand why Bethesda took it out and kind of wanted to make a whole new system for spellcrafting. Maybe they didn't get it done in time for Skyrim, or maybe they just didn't feel like it would fit Skyrim that well and it would have to be in the Elder Scrolls 6, but either way, there's gonna be some kind of rune system, according to Tiffany Treadmore, but at the same time, even though this is inside information from her source, it's not confirmed yet, so either, if she's being legitimate here, then that tells me that maybe the Elder Scrolls 6 is a lot earlier in its development process than what a lot of people may think it is. Some people think it's been in development for a couple years. I heard it went into the early stages of development at the end of 2019 or early 2020, more or less, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to pinpoint this stuff just just from like the random things you hear from other people and other sources and stuff. But that's why I say take all this with a grain of salt. But like I keep saying, when it comes to Bethesda news and stuff, there's always speculation like this anyway. And when it comes to leaks regarding Bethesda, I try to avoid those now. I learned my lesson to not talk about those, but I'm talking about this one because it's more of an inside tip related to an insider with trusted credibility, rather than it is just a full-on leak. But either way, if this is true, that tells us that The Elder Scrolls 6 should have a pretty interesting and unique spell system. It tells us that The Elder Scrolls 6 will have spellcrafting again, and it tells us that The Elder Scrolls 6 is probably a lot earlier in its development process than we may think. Because if they may take this spell system out if it doesn't work, then that means that the game is so early on that they can just add and remove features without actually destroying, like, the foundation of the game. But, like I said, speculation salt moment over. Let's move on to the last thing I want to talk about in today's video, which is actually more credible information, but it is a couple years old by now. However, I'm bringing it up now because it has to do with right now, because the majority of the community, or at least at like half of the Bethesda community, believes Starfield will come out at the end of 2021 this year, probably around November, but some people believe COVID may have pushed it back to that 2022. But here's the piece of information I want to talk about. Like I said, this is a couple years old. I don't need to see you down in the comments telling me that this is old. I know it's old. I'm bringing it up now because it's 2021. Don't you get what I'm saying? Ah, danger glasses. But this comes to us from another LinkedIn profile, which at this point may as well just, like, charge insiders and journalists just fees to look at these things, because so much different information and stuff comes from LinkedIn profiles. I know I'm signed out, LinkedIn, go away. But you can see this is Chris Fiala, and Chris Fiala is a freelance voice director and writer working in video games, animation, and film. His voiceover directing work is featured in several BAFTA award-winning video games, which is funny because it just talked about BAFTA, imagine. See, all the lines are connecting now. I told you I had to talk about this today. But basically, I'll get to the actual meat and potatoes of all this, or just potatoes if you're a vegetarian, or just air if you don't consume stuff. And in his experience here, you can see all the different projects he's worked on, and he's done voiceover directing for these projects. I think he's done some, like, motion capture stuff as well. I may be wrong about the motion capture, but I believe he may have worked in that also a little bit. But regardless, the fact is, all these projects he's listed here are things that he has finished working on, meaning his voiceover and his motion capture and all that stuff are actually done on these projects. And you can see listed on these finished projects are Starfield. Now, that doesn't mean that Starfield was finished 2 years ago. It just means that his actual work with Starfield, his contracted work in voiceover directing and stuff like that, whatever he happened to do for Starfield, was finished as of 2 years ago. But if this huge portion of the game, if the voiceover directing and possible motion capture was finished as of 2 years ago, that means that Starfield would almost certainly have to be coming out at some point soon. And this is one big piece of evidence right here that Starfield was going to be released last year. A lot of people were saying if this was in this state 2 years ago, it has to almost be ready for release, right? Unless COVID pushed it to 2021, which is totally possible because basically everything that was supposed to happen from the middle on in 2020 kind of got pushed back in time a bit, including Starfield, a bunch of other games, and a bunch of other projects. But with that in mind, I bring this back up today because a lot of people thought that this proves Starfield would come out in 2020. COVID would have pushed it back, and now here we are again in that same time frame when this is very relevant, because if all this stuff was finished now more than 2 years ago, it's almost certain that Starfield has to be around the corner now, unless for some reason COVID just pushed the game back like 2 years, which I don't see why that would happen, because Bethesda Game Studios and Bethesda Softworks as a whole have been still putting out updates and working on projects, even though COVID happened last year. They did probably take some time away and work from home a bit, but I think everything is back to normal, at least for the most part, with just some extra health and safety procedures, meaning that everyone gets hand sanitizer sprayed in their face. But that's going to finish up everything I want to talk about in today's video. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to give a video a thumbs up. It helps the channel out a lot more than you may think. And also be sure to subscribe, because that also obviously helps as well. If you want to help grow the channel and the community, be sure to share the content, share the video, get people to subscribe, because the YouTube algorithm really ignores channels underneath 100,000 subscribers. However, since I've been asking you all to share the content, the channel's been growing a lot faster. So huge thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. It is highly appreciated. And speaking of appreciation, huge shout out to these amazing people for going above and beyond to support the channel and bring you content like this. If you want to get a permanent future video video shout out in this video and every single one of my videos from this point forward. You can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when we're just around the corner from Starfield. I'm gonna end every video probably in that kind of way now because we're getting closer, everyone.
It just works.